Greetings from Canada. For those who I've not had the opportunity to meet yet, my name is Bridget Harima, and I am the Marketing and Promotions Manager for the Canadian Speckle Park Association. This year marks an incredible milestone for the Speckle Park breed as we celebrate 20 years of Speckle Park being named a distinct breed according to the Pedigree Act of Canada, making it Canada's only native beef breed. Founding partner Mary Lindsay was inducted into the Saskatchewan Agricultural Hall of Fame this year on her work for establishing the genetic foundational characteristics, which has led the breed to be what it is today. What began as a crossbreeding program between two neighbors has quickly grown into one of the fastest growing breeds in the world, spanning across 4 continents, over 18 countries. The Speckle Park breed has made its mark on both the pasture and the carcass rail. In 2025, we selected our first delegate from the Canadian Junior Speckle Park Association to participate on our intercontinental exchange with Australia. Mackenzie Martin of Martin Star Farms in Ontario brings tenacity and enthusiasm for the breed. She is a major asset for the Junior Association, and we look forward for you guys all to meet her. Here in Canada, we have seen the breed grow rapidly and is making a major mark as we have now 3 national level shows, Canadian Western Exhibition, Farm Fair International, and the Royal Agriculture Winter Fair. We have set records for the breed and sale prices as well. Our membership now exceeds over 250 active members, and we continue to see interest as the breed continues to grow. We are proud to recognize both champions of the world for 2025 being Canadian. Champion of the World Bull, Wolf Lake Leviathan 56L, and Champion of the World Female, Watson Leopard Sriracha 2H. The last weekend of June, we are going back to our roots for our annual general meeting in Saskatoon. We are excited to gather members from across the country to celebrate the Speckle Park breed and all it has accomplished, as well as to host our Canadian Junior Speckle Park Association Junior National Show. As our celebrations continue through 2026, we invite everyone to join us at Canadian Western Exhibition in Regina at the end of November to celebrate Speckle Park and everything it has accomplished.
Good evening. My name is Gary Kiziak, and this is my wife, Nancy. Nancy and I and our family started Kodiak Acres 37 years ago. In addition to Kodiak Acres, it became relevant that we would certainly source a different type of marketing, knowing the quantities of the Speckle Park breed and knowing what the beef consumer requires. Meeting me at Kodiak was one of the best things that I think we've done with the breed. We've backed away from the show ring, we've backed away from some of the other stuff we're doing, and focusing on the meat, which has been very positive.
So Meet Me at Kodiak originated from Kodiak Acres, I guess. We're just outside Edmonton in a little town called Ardrossan, Alberta, in Canada. And Meet Me at Kodiak came to me one day on my way to Edmonton. I was just driving and I thought, we need a name for this meat business. And I thought, what about Meet Me?
Firstly, we got into speckles because Nancy's dad was a large fond of blue roan cattle. And coming from Saskatchewan, he came up with a breeder by the name of John Herbert, where he went over there and bought some Speckle Park grays. We were enthralled with him when he got him home. And since, we worked with the evolution of the Speckle Park breed, they never looked 37 years ago the way they look today. We ended up being partners with the Wattle Grove team in Australia, who added so much not only to their operation but to ours.
We work basically by appointment only, and you just give me a call or a text and ask if I'm available so you can come by. I took this on as a retirement project. We were selling bulk then, a little bit, but not as much as we are today. And now we sell the different cuts, all the different cuts, and the halves and full animals as well. We work with 2 butchers, one in Vegreville, Loves Meats, and one in Tofield Packers. And we've also taken on supplying meat to the new restaurant in Ardrossan called the U-Turn.
Our volumes have continued to increase since we started the meat shop up. We're at the point where we're doing between 7 and 8 animals a month, and doing that is going to take us between 80 and 90 animals in a year, which is about all the capacity we have at this point in time. Some of our cuts are out of stock. That's because the demand has been so high. Our operation is different than others in several respects. We have no problem giving children a tour. We also enjoy having the people visit with us, and it's become a point where when most people try Speckle Park meat, they certainly don't want to go back to other breeds. And at this point in time, I think we're going to probably hold to where we are. We think that we've pretty well maxed in capacity. We've been successful because of our proximity to large urban areas where people come out. They like to take a ride out in the country, and at the same time they come out and pick up their meat. It doesn't seem like anybody ever wants to give us a day off. There's no such thing as a day off. We used to think that call only used to work, but now they just drive in.
We also have one of our butchers himself sells meat for us because they have bought from him before, and now they're asking him to buy animals from us and he can butcher them. So that speaks volumes, I think, for the products that we supply. We would like to continue to provide to the community. Once we're unable to do it, we hope the kids will take over somewhat. Still continue with the Speckle Park because that's what sells. It's not just the beef. It's just not a beef. It's the beef, in my opinion.
We actually, at this point in time, we'd like to take the opportunity to the people who've made us a success, our family, our butchers, the Wattle Grove team from Australia, and the other Australians and other customers from around the world. It's been a good gig for us, and we'd like to continue doing it as long as we're physically able to.
Hi everyone, this is Rebecca from Trestle Creek Cattle Co., just outside of Staff, Ontario in Canada. In 2013, we purchased 5 commercial head of beef cows. We bought that just to put in front of our pasture at our home farm, just to put some meat on the table for our kids and our friends and family. We then went and purchased our first Speckle Park in about 2015, and from there, our love for that breed has grown. We loved what they look like out on the pasture. We loved their temperament. We loved their mothering abilities. We definitely loved their meat, and we found that that was something we wanted to pursue. So we decided to get into the breeding stock side of Speckle Park, and that is what we've been primarily focused on here on the farm. So Trestle Creek Cattle Co. consists of my husband Jeremy, myself Beck. Our oldest son is Tice. He is turning 22. Our second son is Kyan. He is 20. Our third daughter is Ryer. She is 18, and our youngest daughter is just turning 16. Everyone works together here, maybe not all with the cattle, but in some ways, it's good that we all have different skills and things that we're interested in. Our oldest son does a lot of the maintenance here on the farm, and our second son helps with the feeding and just cattle care. Our third daughter is always in the kitchen ready to whip up a meal for us if we're busy moving cattle or during calving season. And our last daughter, Niall, she is the face of Trestle Creek because the rest of us don't like being on camera. We like being in the background. We like everything else. But when it comes to grabbing a halter and going out in front of everyone at the Royal or Agribition, that is not something that's up the rest of us, like our alleys. So it's great that Niall has fallen in love with showing, because if not, then I don't really know what we would be doing as far as that piece of the business goes. Some of the struggles we have here are, one, land prices are very high in our area. So finding pasture ground is pretty much impossible. Everyone around us grows a commodity like corn or soybeans. So finding enough grazing area for our cattle is definitely a challenge. The second issue, which is probably everywhere, is getting enough Speckle Park into feedlots so the data can be collected properly. We find that the breed converts feed so well that if they are put in pens with other breeds that maybe do not convert as quickly, the Speckle Park tend to get a little greasier and fattier than they should because they are overdone. Another part of our farm is the show ring. We were never raised showing cattle. Our children never did 4-H until 2 years ago. Our youngest daughter, Niall, started. So we kind of hit the ground running. We learned by doing, and that's exactly what 4-H's motto is. We try to attend as many shows as we can, especially the shows that maybe don't have Speckle Park classes. Our aim is to bring them to those shows and find enough to have their own class so we can start showing everybody the attributes that we love about the Speckle Park breed. Our show season last year was our second big one, and we were lucky enough to be able to go down to Oklahoma to the Cattlemen's Congress with a show string, and it was a great experience. We found that Speckle Park have just gotten their toes wet in the United States. We are super excited to see the breed spread in the United States, and we feel like the market is an untapped area for the breed. That is kind of what we're wanting to focus on, is getting as many Speckle Park as we can in the States, because the sky is the limit when it comes to selling cattle out there. Also, we go to the Royal Winter Fair, which is one of the biggest cattle shows in Canada. We were lucky enough to come out with Grand Champion Bull and Reserve Grand Champion Bull with two of our bulls. Maverick is currently breeding here on the farm, and we are very excited with his calves and are really excited to be able to bring them out this show season and show people that this genetic line is one that puts out the power but also can handle itself in the show ring. So that's really exciting as well. One of the big steps at our farm was last year we were approached by Corey, Elaine, and Barry to purchase the River Hill herd. We were not expecting to quadruple in size so quickly from our small herd we had. But when that opportunity comes, you do not turn it down. We are beyond thrilled to be able to take these genetics and bring them to Ontario, and we are very happy with the quality, the consistency, just everything from years and years of breeding. So that's another big thing that we have done. We are putting our money where our mouth is. We think this breed just needs a little bit more numbers and exposure, and we're ready to do it. We are excited for the future. We are excited to meet new people. We just want this to be a fun environment to be in. We love the people we have met so far, and we hope to be able to travel to Ireland this spring or summer. And our next big goal is to go visit you guys in Australia to be able to see what you guys have done so far with the breed and meet new people there as well. So thanks for allowing us to show you our farm, our family, and what we are doing with the breed so far. Cheers.
Hey all, it's Glenn here from Speckle Park. Together with my father-in-law Robert, we run 3 different enterprises here. We have a commercial herd of about 30 breeding females, a pedigree herd which is sitting today at 15 breeding females, and then we distribute semen to the dairy farmers and buy back those beef bred calves and hand rear them, so it's a calf to beef operation there. And we do roughly, between 100 and 200 depending on the year of those. So where does Speckle Park come in then? So I suppose we dabbled in it a little in terms of we distributed some Speckle Park semen to those Holstein Friesian herds and bought back the calves to rear. Our first feeling was that these calves just had a different level of vigour, a different level of a will to live, and their growth rates and their finishing ability was just second to none in comparison to other breeds that we were hand rearing. That got us interested, and then the next step was to head over to Canada. I'm the type of person who doesn't do things by half, so I suppose we had a conversation with Greenwood Speckle Park in terms of buying in some frozen genetics, and it very quickly turned from getting a price for 10 embryos to deciding, listen, Dalton, how many eggs have you got? He had, I think it was 80 or 85. And I said, well, if the price is any better to completely deplete your stock, then we're willing to take that leap. And that's exactly what we done. So we had a lot of embryo calves then a year later starting to hit the ground. And we didn't really have an outlet for them. And so began the social media switch from the calf man, from calf to beef rearing, to Speckle Park. We decided quite early that we were gonna run a really heavy culling program, really strict in terms of if anything got the speckle prefix and was registered pedigree, it had to earn it. So everything was run across the crush. We had third party giving us advice on that. And if it just wasn't perfect, if it didn't walk properly, if it didn't have an elder the way it should have, if it didn't have a pretty head, if its feet weren't correct, if it wasn't structurally perfect, there's no top line there, well then that animal just, filtered into the beef side of things. And we're lucky that we have 3 enterprises that complement each other really well. Female wise for the commercial setup, we've got a constant supply of heifer calves having been reared, and some of them will get a chance at an embryo, and if they don't hold that embryo, then they'll get a chance with a Speckle Park bull on one cycle, and if it comes up empty, then straight back into the beef system. And those enterprises complementing each other means we're never really having to make any more investments in terms of buying recipient dams or looking at commercial females or anything like that. We just use our replacement heifers to develop the herd from being half Holstein females to being maybe 3/4 Speckle Park and 1/4 Holstein. So we find that really, really helpful. So the day-to-day running of things then, I work out in terms of I work for another company where it's involved in livestock nutrition and things like that. It takes, 40, 50 hours a week. So I have to time my annual leave around breeding season, calving season, and my annual trip to Canada. The uh, the day to day running things 9 to 5. Robert pretty much has to do everything, whereas mornings, evenings, and weekends is my ball game. Now it doesn't mean I don't manage to clock up, another 40 hours a week on the farm. But it doesn't feel like work if you understand me. It's just something that I love to do. Um, but it leads on to why I need to have a really efficient system and why Speckle Park really work in that system. Well, first thing, I don't have to horn the calves, obviously being a pole breed. Second thing is they're easy doability just off grass alone or silage. So I don't have to feed too much concentrate. And then thirdly, I suppose, is that calving season just has to run like a Swiss watch. It has to run really, really well. And that's when Speckle Park really, really comes into its own. The calves are born, they're up and sucking within minutes. The cows have great mothering ability. And then the calf just goes on straight out to the pasture and goes on ahead and thrives with little intervention from me at all. Very rarely would I have to needle at one of my Speckle Park animals, so that's ideal for me. Um, that's some reasons why one might want to get involved in Speckle Park, but I think the real angle that everyone needs to start thinking about, and I know Australia and Canada are doing a much better job than what we are, given that we're not really doing anything on the subject at the moment, is the meat eating quality. You only have to taste Speckle Park beef to be bought into that whole story. But yeah, look, that's going to be a battle we're going to have to face, and we're going to have to face it fairly soon. But it is the fastest growing breed in Europe. I can say that fairly confidently in terms of knowing, just you rarely would have seen a Speckle Park animal even 3, 4 years ago. Now it's just you always seem to see them. So I'm really happy with how the breed's progressing, and it's just getting the meat plants involved and understanding the reasoning behind the meat eating quality and tasting it and understand it for themselves. And then finally, I suppose, it's the people within the breed. I go to Canada, like I say, every single November, and every single November I come home with a new friend, a new relationship, or a new contact within the industry, and everyone's willing to talk to me. Um, and look, it's not all business. I mean, I go over there. I'm sober probably 20% of the time to have some business conversations, and the rest of it is just really enjoying their company, good food, plenty of whiskey, and surrounded by Speckle Park cattle. Sure, what else would you want? Um, and yeah, I'm only doing it in Canada at the moment. I suppose I'm going to have to take a year off Canada and head over towards Australia or New Zealand to see what you guys are up to. But I look forward to that. And look, plenty of the other breeders are coming over here now and taking a visit around Scallop, which is really nice to see also. Some of the relationships, look, I could mention so many different breeders, but a fairly special relationship that has been grown there at the moment is just with Trestle Creek. We share a lot of conversations and even share some animals within our herds. They're just great people. Corey Dutcher from Riverhill and Elaine and Barry, and Carla, just great people to hang out with and talk Speckle Park, and Martin Starr, Mallet River. I mean, there's just so many different really good people out there that I enjoy spending my time with. And if I haven't mentioned anyone, it's not for any malicious reason, because I think these are all great. And I really enjoy every one of your company. Hopefully it'll get to the stage soon where my kids are old enough that they can be left behind, and I can start getting my better half involved within the breed. And I look forward to that day. most of all. And then I suppose the end goal just has to be that one day, there'll be a bloodline here at Scallop that people in the other continents are interested in, and some genetics are going the opposite direction. Instead of from Canada to here, maybe from here to Canada or America or Australasia or something like that. But yeah, I would recommend the breed to absolutely everybody that I talk to, and the more people get involved with it, I mean, the future looks bright. So I'm sure everyone's just as passionate as I am about it. We're fairly new to the party, and we're here to stay.
Hi everybody at Wettle Grove. My name is Jaco van der Molen and I live in Denmark. I've been asked to tell something about Speckle Park in Denmark, and I love to do that. So here we are in the field with some of my speckles, and I like to start with how I got started with Speckle Park and what my plan is with Speckle Park in the future. I started for about 4 or 5 years ago. I saw my first speckles at my friend's dairy farm, where he did crossbreed them with his dairy cows, and I kind of liked the color right away, and but I didn't do much with it actually. I went home and thought they look good. But then when they got a little bit bigger, I thought I could maybe try to get some of my own. So I bought some of his crossbreds and took them home and looked on the internet, and I got more and more into the Speckle Parks, and I decided to buy some embryos from Canada. And I did that, and I found out that 8 embryos wasn't really enough to get something started, so I had to buy more. After a while, I think I bought about 40 embryos. I haven't used them all yet, but 35 embryos gave me about 20 animals, I guess. Not all of them are good. I have to be selective. I like to have them to have good udders, good feet. So some of them got butchered because dolly feet, bad feet, I mean, and some had bad udders too. So I didn't want to keep them. My goal with the speckles is actually that I have a small herd of very good quality animals, and in my opinion, there's no room for animals that are kind of not live up to that standard. So I'm still building numbers actually. I had a bunch of bull calves too I couldn't use. We started actually with only bull calves, so I was fortunately to be able to sell them to Holland, and that brings me a little bit into Speckle Park here in Europe. More and more people are interested in getting started with Speckle Park, but the breed is really small here. So lots of people asking me to maybe buy something from me, but I don't have the numbers, so I usually tell them no. I do feel sometimes that I want to sell 1 or 2 animals also to keep people interested in it, but it's very slow. But there are some breeders in Holland, in Germany, a bunch of breeders are starting up too. Sweden, Norway, they do have their own speckles too right now, so it's kind of spreading out, I guess, and we have to see where it goes. My plan was that I wanted to buy embryos every year and kind of develop a herd here, but we haven't been that lucky with the new rules from Europe. Right now we can't hardly buy any embryos anymore because of the bulls have to be qualified for Europe. So I bought a bunch and I still have some left, but when those are gone, used, then probably we get more or less stock. Some people do draw bulls for Europe, and hopefully we can use them too. And I would like to challenge the people in Australia, if they have too much money, they could always draw a bull for Europe and kind of support us that way. But I don't think that's gonna happen. So that's the plan, and maybe in the future, if I have a little bit more cows to choose from, I can sell maybe some embryos or calves or whatever to other people that are interested. I have been on the national show in Denmark for last year I was at the national show, and we were at the local show here, and of course, if I have the only female, I always win, so that's not really a big challenge, but it's very fun thing to do, and to get people to ask about the breed and show the breed. And I really do a lot for getting the breed spoken about here in this country. So yeah, we have to see where it goes. I hope everything works out good in the future, and that we can have more numbers. And that's a wish I have, and I'd like to thank you all for listening to me, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Greetings from Denmark.
Hi, my name is Esme Bosma and I'm from the Netherlands. At home we breed with Speckle Park since 2021. Before that we breeded with Belgian Blue, and we have problems with bird ease. That's why we started to breed with Speckle Park. Since 2021 we fully focus on breeding with only Speckle Park. We fell in love with the breed when the first calves were born. They were born very easily, and the calves are very figure when they are just born, so that's really nice. Also, the behavior of the cows and bulls is very good. We graze the cows all summer, so in April they go outside till November, and then the weather gets bad over here in Holland, so that's when they go inside for the winter. But in summer we graze them outside. They are very curious, as you can see. This is our breeding bull Misha. He is also from an embryo out of Canada, and we are very happy with him. He's now, I think, 1 year and a few months old. Oh, now he is going out of sight. This over here is a Speckle Park cow, purebred from Ireland we bought, and she is in calf to Wall Street, our own bull. Here is Michelle with his ring. So you can see they are very nice and very easy to work with. We had a few breeding bulls now. Misha is our third. Our first one, Lucas, we bought from Denmark from a friend, also Speckle Park breeder, Jacco. And he was our first bull we bought. Over the time we bought embryos from Canada, from Jonas Stock Farm and Greenwood Speckle Park. We now have 10 purebred heifers and bulls. One of our bulls, Wall Street, is at an AI station here nearby, and he's available for breeding through whole Europe. Speckle Park works really well here in Holland. We see that the interest in the breed grows really well. There's also a lot of interest for Speckle Park for beef and dairy. So dairy farmers use Speckle Park to increase calving ease at their dairy cows. Also for our system, Speckle Park works really well. We graze about 40 cows on 10 hectares. So that's, I think, in comparison to other countries, a really small area. But we have very good growth seasons over here. So we only graze them on our 10 hectares the whole summer. First cut we mow, so we have silage for winter. And after that the cows are going outside to graze the whole summer. What I really like about the breed is that they have a very good behavior. They are very curious and they are easy to handle also in our system. We graze them on little pieces of land, about 1 hectare a piece. So we have to move our cows a lot during the season. And we do that by car and trailer. So we put them up in a small group and we do them in the trailer, and then we move them down the road to another pasture. That works really well for us, and also for the cows. They are getting used to it. So when we drive the trailer in the pasture, they're already going in by themselves most of the time. The temperatures also are very nice over here. We have a lot of trees over here, so as you can see, so we have a lot of shadow in summer when it's turning hot. Hot over here is about 30 degrees Celsius. A challenge for us is that Speckle Park turns really fat, especially on our good quality grass. They are turning really fat. So that's a challenge for us to get them good in shape for breeding. So that's what we have to find out over the years, what's working and what's not working. We only grass-fed our cows, so no concentrate or corn, what most of the farmers do over here. We fatten up our own bulls at our farm, and I think we slaughter around 4 or 5 bulls in a year for our customers. When we do, the carcass weight is around 500 to 600 kilos, so that's very well, I guess. The marbling in our meat is also extraordinary, so we're very happy with that. The flavor of the meat is also very good. When we slaughter our bulls, we sell the meat to people in the village around here, and we sell the meat for an average of 26 euros a kilo. So I think that all our qualities from Speckle Park breed were very good fitting over here in the Netherlands. So that's why I think that Speckle Park is a very nice breed over here, and that's why the interest is growing really fast in Holland, because it's an easy breed. The behavior is very good. The marbling is very good. They can get fat soon. That can be a quality, but for us, for the breeding animals, can it be a challenge? And there are much more qualities of the breed who I don't think about it now. But that's why we work with Speckle Park. Thank you for your time and for listening to this video. Do you want to get in contact with us or follow us on social media? I will put it in this video. On Facebook we call it Schutte Speckle Park, on Instagram also. And if you want to get in contact with me, you can find me under the name Esme Bosma. Thank you and have a good day.
Hi, I'm Sarah Glatfelder with Mighty Zephyr Ranch in Cimarron, Colorado in the United States. We run a registered speckle herd size of about 40 head with a small commercial herd that is bred with our Speckle Park bull. We use the commercial side for beef sales and are getting rave reviews in our area of how the meat quality tastes and how well the meat marbles. The only downside about this breed in the 6 years that we've had them is that there is a slight hit at the sale barn when we try to sell our calves in the fall. Overall, we're still very competitive in a private treaty sale and can sell at the same price as any Black Angus, Red Angus, or any other breed out there. Some of the benefits of this breed definitely seems to be that their ability to adapt with feed in drought situations. The Southwest United States is in a severe drought and does not look to be coming out of it anytime soon, most likely. And being able to have cattle that can gain weight still on low quality feed is super important at the moment. And we don't have to feed an absorbent amount for them to keep their body scores. Another positive about this breed is they're just super pretty to look at. Who wouldn't want to drive by and look at that in their field every single day? Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Hi from Texas, I'm PJ Butler, and I'm thrilled to contribute to this Speckle Park initiative and just give some insight into what I've seen around the world with the breed and its growth, right from its foundation in Saskatchewan, Canada, to really becoming quite a global force. I judged Speckle Park in Canada at Regina at Agribition in must be 2020, 2021 perhaps, for their national show, and then since then I've just watched them explode into Australia, where they were already quite established and are gaining a lot of market share. New Zealand seems to be enjoying the breed, enjoying the fact that they add a little more carcass and yield together with that quality beef. Argentina's taken grip of them. I judged them in Palermo in Buenos Aires last year, and there seems to be some traction there with them because they really fit in with that Argentinian phenotype and genotype. And the Europeans, interestingly enough, have grabbed onto them. The Norwegians, the Danes, the Irish, there's a lot of them in the Netherlands and now also in the UK. And I think because they've got some extra carcass and punch to go with that carcass quality and marbling, they seem to fit into a lot of different markets. I see they're really establishing themselves all over the US now as well. So this is a breed to watch in the future, both as a purebred with its positive carcass traits and its maternal traits, but also as a really good option for crossing with Bos Indicus cattle and for crossing with other British and European cattle, just to add a little quality with the yield that it provides. So I'm very excited to see what happens in the next few decades with this breed of cattle. And I think there's some really good pioneers breaking new frontiers all over the world with these cattle and just improving on those foundational traits that were laid decades ago in Saskatchewan.
How did Speckle Park first arrive in Brazil, and what drew you and your partners to introduce this breed into a market so dominated by Nelore and Angus genetics?
For us, as partners of Speckle Park Brazil, the first thing that drew our attention was the quality of the breed, right? From the moment the animal is born until its carcass yield and the quality of the meat, right? As I have been described by many in Australia, it is one of the best tasting meat that you try in your life, right? So definitely the quality, all in all, has attracted us in bringing the breed. The second point is the Brazilian consumer, and to a larger extent, the Latin American consumer, is appreciating a better premium meat, which is something that Nelore cannot deliver, which is something that has also a point of difference on the Speckle Park. And thirdly, being a new breed in Brazil coming from, call it, Canada and Australia, has also an interesting story from a market point of view to really bring the best of Speckle Park into Brazil.
What have been the most meaningful milestones for Speckle Park Brazil so far? Whether in herd development, genetics imports, partnerships, or market reception?
Well, there have been many milestones of the Speckle Park Brazil project in the last 5 years. Definitely getting the breed approved was a phenomenal success by the team in partnership with the government, as well as Herd Buculares, which is an association in Brazil. The second one was being the first ones to bring the genetics in partnership with Watergrove Brazil by bringing a lot of embryos to start the breed in Brazil. The other milestone was to start the actual production, call it this way, of the pure Speckle Park breed with animals being born. Following from that, we have expanded the business through another partnership to continue to expand the breed herd of Speckle Park Brazil, of Speckle Park. And lastly, but not least, two great milestones that we have achieved recently. One is having one of the first bulls, Pioneer, being allocated into genetic collection center with Alta Genetics, producing thousands of semen straws for the Brazilian and the South American market. And then we're about to start production of embryos from our small herd of Speckle Park in Brazil. So all in all, a lot of great milestones of the business in Brazil with the support of the Watergrove team.
What makes Brazil a unique environment for Speckle Park?
Brazil has very good conditions for new breeds like Speckle Park. First, the numbers. There are over 200 million heads of animals in Brazil, making Brazil one of the largest consumers of red meat globally. Secondly, the sophistication of the market. So Brazilians have been used to eat better meat in the last few years, and Speckle Park meets the demand of a more sophisticated and premium quality of the meat. Thirdly, the conditions in Brazil, especially in the south, are perfect for Speckle Park Q, but also the crossbred, which has been piloted in the last few years. Over 400 farmers have proven to be very successful in adapting to sometimes very tropical conditions of Brazil and also harsh conditions. But all in all, these are the things that make Brazil a very unique environment, not only for Speckle Park domestically, but also for export within the region.
Where are you seeing the strongest commercial signal for Speckle Park in Brazil? Is it in purebred seed stock, crossbreeding programs with zebu cattle, premium beef positioning, or somewhere else?
We started with genetics, and we have seen there is a lot of momentum in regards to providing genetics to the commercial cattle market, which is in the hundreds of millions of heads. So far, we have sold more than 12,000 semen strolls of purebred Speckle Park to a number of farmers to cross with a number of breeds, being Angus, Nelore, and others. And we have seen that definitely the cross-breeding program on a commercial basis has been very successful. We also have a lot of interest into the purebred genetics, right? We have been approached by a number of farmers, both in Brazil, but also our neighbor countries such as Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay, to commercialize the embryos, which is something that we're keeping starting this year as well. So overall, at this point in time, it's more genetics. With more scale as we move the business forward, we can see that there is a huge opportunity with partners to really start the premium meat side of Speckle as a breed.
Looking ahead 5 to 10 years, what role do you see Speckle Park playing in the Brazilian beef industry, and what would success look like for Speckle Park Brazil?
Well, in 5 to 10 years, we expect to have a much bigger herd of Speckle Park in Brazil, not only with us, but also with partners in the farming industry and also to other people that we intend to sell genetics. We expect the breed to start to get momentum and be seen as an alternative or a complement to the likes of Angus and Nelore as well. We wanted to make sure that our vision is to make sure that Speckle Park is readily available throughout the whole of Brazil, north and south, west and east, and also to few countries that have an interest in the breed as well. And then finally, we expect the meat to be recognized as a high quality meat, branded in many cases with the right partners to make sure that people can appreciate the quality of the breed in their barbecues over the weekend.
I'm Vaughan Johnson, Speckle Park International Chairman. Speckle Park has a unique opportunity into the beef industry over the next few years, whether that be grass-fed programs, grain-fed programs, high eating quality, efficiency, fast finishing. Speckle Park ticks all of those boxes. At SBI, we are really focused on taking that next level for our members, creating the tools like Breed Plan, the commercial register to be able to increase the accuracy of Speckle Park genetics, identify those genetics that have the best eating quality, that express the tenderness and the juiciness that all Speckle Park members and understand as advocates for the breed. There is wonderful work out there in the supply chains today. An example of that is Neat Meats, two-time winning the Outstanding Food Awards in New Zealand. They're only looking to scale up their Speckle Park brand into the future. And now in Australia, we're starting to see brands doing the same thing with the successful, eating quality and chefs advocating for Speckle Park beef. As we move forward, we've got to continue to work with industry like MLA, research institutes, and those to identify what brings Speckle Park to the front. And so we've started looking at how we look at research programs that looks at things like shear force, tenderness, looking into different meat science attributes that we can identify what Speckle Park makes that point of difference. We've also gone into the multi-breed genetic evaluation with MLA and agreed to go ahead with the development of that value proposition. So we're positioning ourselves very exciting times to contribute to the wider beef industry, but also identify the points of difference. beef industry more and more looks at traceability, and we have a unique opportunity because we have a fully DNA verified database within our SBI herd book. This is one or only breed that can really take this advantage to the next level. And so us as members, Speckle Park enthusiasts, need to take the advantage and move forward.
Hi, I'm Ben Humphreys from Wattle Grove Speckle Park.
Hi, I'm Dale Humphreys at Wattle Grove Speckle Park.
And we're here at our new head office at Tarwari, which is in the Guru area south of Tamworth.
Originally, while we looked here, we run an operation obviously still in Oberon, New South Wales, and then in Queensland as well, and we have our sale at Toowoomba. So it was really we want looking for somewhere that we could background our cattle and have our breeding herd sort of somewhere in the middle, and it suited this area. So when we looked at properties, we looked sort of all over, but this property came up and it just suited what we wanted to do. It really has given us the opportunity to expand our female herd and to fine tune the female side of things, give us that commercial reality. It's really give us the opportunity to expand our operation and stud sort of things, but have more of a commercial focus.
We have been in Speckle Park pretty much since they first came to Australia in 2007. Dale fell in love with them as soon as he saw them.
We went into Speckle Park originally because of their survivability and durability. They really are a tough animal, and obviously they handled the winters of Canada, and we didn't know how they would survive Australia, but obviously, over the last 15 years we've sold cattle north, south, east, west, and all over Australia, and then obviously into Brazil and other areas.
My name's Lincoln McKinlay from Link Proprietary Limited. I'm working alongside the Wattle Grove team. I've been working with the Wattle Grove team since about 2018, and I've seen this program really evolve and run with the times and the ebbs and flows of our industry.
We really have developed the cattle a little bit more from what they originally were. Now we're really looking at that skin type. It's going to suit that North Queensland sort of markets and that survivability. They've got a little bit more leg in them now than what they did have. And we're really seeing that Northern Queensland area really embracing Speckle Park.
I truly believe that Speckle Park has a lot to offer to the northern beef industry when it comes to providing a resulting progeny that's widely accepted into southern markets and the feedlot industry here in Australia to not only perform extremely well and be extremely efficient in how they do perform, but providing a quality eating product and a really high quality red meat product and improving that MSA score from a tropical bred animal, a high Bos Indicus, as a big benefit and a real opportunity for those guys in that part of the world to jump into a softer animal, a British bred animal that can handle their environments and be fertile and maternal, and then provide the performance and the quality that they're chasing.
We believe in Speckle Park, they're way more than just a colour. So we firmly believe it's what's underneath. Still believe that the industry is a bit colourblind with a black-coated animal, and that's nothing against other breeds that are black, or a Speckle Park can be black as well, but I see a lot of people in all breeds, I guess, follow the numbers game, and look, while we need numbers, we need animals that are going to produce a calf, survive the environment, put on weight, be functional, fertile. All of them sort of things are our key attributes before we look at numbers. I see it a lot in the sale yards where black-coated animals are making more money than anything else, and I believe good cattle should make good money. So they're very much more than just a coat colour, and I'd like to see the industry accept, carcass qualities and meat attributes rather than just coat colour.